Okay, where to start here? So you've heard of hate speech. That means criticizing the government, posting photos of a Monsanto march, anything. If you're a Navy SEAL group criticizing Benghazi, you're not allowed to share that on Facebook. YouTube's starting to block it. And they take over the web, they claim it's a public commons, and they're not allowed to do it, even though they own their own company, because it's false advertising. They just label your speech as hate. Everybody goes, well, oh, what's the label? Oh, Nazis or hacking, and then it's not that. It's your kids at a Monsanto march. It's you criticizing Obama. It's a pro-Second Amendment meme. You try to say you're pro-Second Amendment on Facebook, they'll delete or block your account. It is a reign of covert censorship, just like they're persecuting the Tea Party, the pro-lifers, the preachers. They want a chilling effect. That's why they're persecuting mainstream media that tries to expose corruption. They want you scared to shut up, but it's backfiring. People are angry. And let's look at Europe. Let's look at England. Let's look at the UK, that on average is about 5 years ahead of us when it comes to the Orwellian police state, the spy grid. We're ahead of them in some things here in the U.S., but usually in carbon taxes, you name it. Europe and England, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, globalist controlled as well. They're about 5 years ahead of us. They are arresting hundreds of homeschooling parents. A lot of them are scientists, doctors, you name it. They homeschool their own children. In Germany, even if you have a teaching degree, they don't let you train your kids. You've got to send them to the state. That's where modern education began, taking the kids away. In Prussia, kindergarten, a brainwashing system to have military conscripts follow orders. Worked well for Hitler 100 years later. So you've got all that going on. And now, I saw this on the BBC like 6, 7 years ago. We had him on, Robin Page, host of One Man and His Dog, a popular rural show where he would walk from town to town with a film crew and drink the beer or eat the whatever the specialty was in the town and stay at old bed and breakfasts. He gave a speech where they were banning basically most hunting in England, fox hunting, you name it. And he said rural communities deserve the same rights. By the way, he's pretty much a liberal, but like a real liberal, Thomas Jefferson type liberal. He said rural communities deserve the same cultural rights as Muslims or homosexuals. They arrested Robin Page. We had him on BBC for saying the word homosexual. That's like if you said Anglo, arresting you saying that's racist. Science words are now hateful. I heard a guy, I said this last week. I was at Martin Springs. There was a Hispanic guy and 2 white guys swimming. They were playing water football, throwing a ball around, and I'm sitting there listening to them, laying there in the sun after I swam a couple of miles. And I swam like a mile that day, I think. And I'm sitting there listening to him, my heart's thumping away. And I heard him go, let's go eat Chinese food over at whatever the name of the place was. And they go, shh, dude, you can't say Chinese. Don't eat, that's racist. And then I saw people going, approvingly looking, going, yes, laying around on the green grass with me. Other people were going, oh. I mean, people think you can't even, talking is like illegal. Okay? And I remember seeing articles in the British news, you can pull this up, where undercover police are to be put in cafes for racist speech, and you'll be arrested. And if you say they're giving the foreigners all the jobs, they're paying their welfare, they're opening up the borders, or they're voting away you are arrested. But then the charges are always dropped because the charges don't even really say that. It's all intimidation. And that's how they operate over there. So joining us, here's the article on Infowars.com. Government orders midwives to spy on racist parents. Spy program, part of our Orwellian plan to have children report on their mother and father. And then, of course, now he reported a few days ago. That's, by the way, in their major papers. Watson's reporting on that. They're reporting that every group of parents will have a government parent that was with the child for 18 years, teaching them how to teach, like Al Gore told kids a few years ago. It was recorded. He said, go home and tell your parents the right way to be. You're their boss now. This is the essence of authoritarianism, the Hitler Youth. 1984, they come home and denounce you. This is hellish. See, they can't win with their authoritarianism with the adults, but they're getting the kids. Paul Watson, devastating article, totally creepy. And then, again, the midwife, it says every week the government parent will take the child away for a meal. Let's talk about your parents. Are they smoking marijuana? Are they yelling at you? Because we're going to, and the kid doesn't know, they're going to take the kid if the parents yell at them. There's no law, but they don't care. They have eugenics courts. And again, it's usually a pedophile, that's going to be there. I mean, Chevelle who brought, you know, kids to the royal family reportedly, you know, he was a person that was allowed to take the kids from the parents. He liked to take care of them. He also liked to have sex with dead bodies. Maybe Watson, they'll teach the kids how to have sex with dead bodies.
Well, Alex, you know, under Ceausescu's Romanian dictatorship, 15% of all the informants were children informing on their parents. And apparently Scotland is interested in using that template for their own system. Because you remember the story from last year about foster parents having 3 children taken away from them by the state because of their support for UKIP, which is a mainstream political party that just happens to oppose uncontrolled immigration into the United Kingdom. As a result of that, had their 3 foster children taken away. They were perfectly good parents in every other regard. Well, this is that on steroids, and it's going to be from birth. And it's already happening. They didn't even wait to pass it in Parliament, like the named state guardian that you were just talking about. This is already in effect. It's called Getting It Right for Every Child. And it's a Scottish government programme where these midwives for parents that are having newborn babies are ordered to spy on the parents, listen to their conversations, give them tests if they, quote, respect and value diversity, and if they give due prominence to their racial, ethnic, and cultural heritage. So they're basically trying to use political hate speech, racism as they deem it, to ferret out these, you know, extremist parents. And then if they raise alarm bells, if they raise a suspicion, they're then given another formal investigation. And if they're deemed to be, you know, culturally insensitive or racist, then the state takes the baby away. And this is already happening across Scotland, not even a vote on it. It's Orwellian to the extreme.
No, I mean, this is the secret police who, again, are just going to use the foreigners to break down the country and vote. And so the Scots are saying, no, I'm proud of being Scot. Your kids are gone, and they're going to be getting gang raped in a couple hours by the government. Literally, an army of pedophiles. Scotland, of course, is famous for their CPS to be pedophile run. Go ahead.
Well, and then there's a second part to it, which is going to be put up for a vote in the Scottish Parliament, which is the Children and Young People Bill. And that's going to ensure that every intimate detail of a child is recorded, stored on a central database. And then, as you said, a named state guardian is assigned to every single child, giving them access to the child, spying on the family. And then they actually get the child to fill out a questionnaire rating their parents from 1 to 10.
No. This is already going on in public schools here. And they put it in government databases while everything's on computer now. This is the state in your family, in your life. You would put up with this from no one but the government. Watson, I want to cover this more. We have a short Leanne McAdoo report where when you go to Walmart at your own risk, a guy married to a black lady has multiracial children, so they called Homeland Security on them, and Homeland Security responded, of course. So it's everybody. Our viewers have demanded it, so now you're gonna get it. More pro-Second Amendment gun shows in the month of June.
What we've learned is you cannot hide behind an I-beam when there's a 50 cal present.
Brothers in Arms, 50 cal ammo review, and more. Coming in the month of June to the Infowar. Ladies and gentlemen, if all of this authoritarianism with the social workers and the thought police seems familiar, it is. In Europe, the EU has hired most of the bureaucrats from the old Soviet Union. I've had members of the EU Parliament on naming them. And they brought in all of Eastern Europe, and the communists have been out of power for 15 years. They just put them all back in power in the EU bureaucracy. England, the UK is now under it. And we're going to keep watching until 5 after. Then our guest is coming in here dealing with censorship on Facebook. But they mean business. And the creepiness of the state coming into your house like you're guilty, like you've done something wrong. They started a pilot program a few years ago in all of the UK where 30,000 new children a year, of the 30,000 was the funding for it, have cameras put in the house the first month as if they aren't good to raise their kids. Everybody. They just randomly come and say, a camera goes in your house, no judge, no jury, no warrant. People comply with it out of fear. Now they're saying, we're going to expand it to everybody. And oh, by the way, your Connect or your, or your smart meter already does this, so it'll watch for us. They're phasing it in and then finding reasons to break up your family. The state wants your kids. Paul Watson, we're going to go to this Leanne McAdoo piece dealing with what's going on here with the Orwellian police state and the telescreens and the Walmarts, and then we're going to go back to you and get your take on how to fight this. Here it is. The piece.
Since 2010, Walmart has spearheaded a See Something, Say Something campaign by broadcasting 1984-esque messages from Homeland Security head Janet Napolitano that encourages Walmart shoppers to spy on each other.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security begins with hometown security.
That's why I'm pleased that Walmart is helping to make our communities more safe and secure. If you see something suspicious in the parking lot or in the store, say something immediately.
So it should be no surprise that police visited a father of 3 this weekend after he went to Walmart with his children to cash a check. Walmart security alerted authorities to a possible kidnapping of 3 young girls, all because the security guard thought it was strange that the girls weren't the same race as their white father. Police who were at his home when he arrived made the oldest child confirm that the man with them was their father. But this is not new. In 2009, a couple lost custody of their children when Walmart Photo Center employees alerted police to pictures they thought were akin to child porn. The photos were of the couple's children taking baths and being wrapped in towels. That couple is now in the midst of a lawsuit with Walmart. Back in 2010, when Big Sis became the head of the Walmartian Snoop Society, Alex Jones had plenty to say about the DHS's invasion into our lives under the threat of a terrorist attack.
Well, it's here. 1984 in America. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back. There is no doubt that we're in deep trouble as a society. The head of Homeland Security, Big Sis, Janet Napolitano, has now come out and announced that over 800 Walmarts in the next month are going to install telescreens at the checkout scanner with different federal orders to spy on the other people shopping.
But don't worry, as we reported in 2011, if you're one of the many good citizens that are reporting suspicious activity, Homeland Security wants to shield you from facing the consequences of misidentifying innocent behavior as extremism or terrorism. Of course, this will only encourage an army of ill-equipped citizen spies to report any behavior whatsoever, no matter how benign. See something, say something. Unless, of course, you're blowing the whistle on government corruption, and then, mum's the word. I'm Leanne McAdoo, and this has been an Infowars Nightly News Alert.
All right, so when a Walmartian, that's a Walmart self-propelled stomach, calls the SWAT team on you because they see you buying a firearm at Walmart. No, that's happened. You buy a gun, and then they call the police on you because you buy a gun. When someone falsely accuses you of something, now they're protected. You can't face your accuser. They won't get in trouble. And again, this is the essence of tyranny, the essence of evil. There's still a lot of common sense out there in law enforcement. That's why things haven't completely collapsed. But they're trying to train the police and the public to be good little Nazis, good little Soviets. Paul Watson joining us from the UK with Bilderberg coverage. Regardless of whether they let me in England or not, you're going to be there covering Bilderberg 2013, Infowars.com/Bilderberg. For all the live feeds, already a ton of stuff on that site. Please pass that out to everybody you know, to the listeners out there, because it's going to have all the coverage, the photos, the live streams, you name it. You just saw and heard Leanne McAdoo's report, speaking of Scotland. This is amazing to actually have the government embedded in every household. Everyone is guilty until their family's destroyed. It's not guilty until proven innocent of free speech. It's now guilty until we enslave you and destroy you. Because we are the weird control freaks that come by your house. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Will the UK, will Scotland stop this, or is this the end?
Well, they've already implemented some of it with the named guardian, the government social worker for every child. That's in a bill called the Children and Young People Bill, which a lot of people are now starting to pay attention to, sign petitions against. So if that's defeated, it could derail the rest of it.
I'm not having any pot-bellied pedophile in my house.
Oh, no, you just tell them to stick it. I mean, people have got to stop putting up with this crap. Also got breaking Bilderberg news, though, if you want to hold me over, which is pretty big.
Oh, really? You have breaking? Start telling us. What is it?
Well, we've got the maps that have been released by the police for the access, for the road closures, for the pedestrians prohibited around the entire site of the Grove Hotel. And just as we said weeks ago, they're concentrating all the protesters into that little pen at the front entrance of the hotel. The back entrance of the hotel is all going to be blocked off. Nobody's going to be able to get anywhere near it. Part of the road is completely blocked off. They're going to have a police checkpoint. The rest
yeah, that's
of it,
where everybody's going to be coming in. I told you, Paul. And
exactly.
Guess how big the protest area is?
Not very big at all, according to what I'm told. But, I mean, that's where they're going to come in. The authorities said, oh, we're going to facilitate your right to free press and protest. You're not, because they're all going to come in the back entrance. Nobody's going to see any Bilderbergers.
Well, look, I told the head cop, I said, I'm not planning on leading the demonstrations or anything, but it sounds like we're going to have to command the whole operation. Because, I mean, I know everything's going to happen. We'll just go wherever we want, on the side of the road, wherever. It's supposedly a free country over there. And I told him, I said, I'm going to go around the perimeter with a long lens and take photos of this non-existent meeting.
Well, they're closing it off under anti-terror guises when the real terrorists are inside. But they've also, the council, in its idiocy, because 1,000, 2,000 people are going to be descending on the scene anyway, they've rejected the planning application to hold this festival in a nearby park. So now you've got thousands of people descending to hear Alex Jones and David Icke speak, and they've got nowhere to go. So this moronic council has created a bigger problem for itself by rejecting this application.
Well, because the mayor said it's terrorism to protest. She said it's bad to protest, and I'm so honored to have Bilderberg. I mean, how dare them? This is North Korea. We don't allow protesting in Watford.
Well, exactly. Now the residents who live in the area have got to show their passport just to get down their own street. And I mean, either we do it the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is
so now the cops are not even going to let us try to get down main roads on public streets.
No, it's all blocked off or pedestrians prohibited. I'm looking at the maps
but
right
see,
now.
all we do is have the maps and get wherever they've backed it up. I mean, they're not going to be able to block it all off. And they're just going to show everybody how they're blocking free speech for this group of globalists.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the Infowars Magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One High Performance Water Filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Paul Joseph Watson, one of our UK reporters and obviously the editor at PrisonPlanet.com, he has big breaking Bilderberg news. I've talked to the head cop involved. In my experience, these guys will say that they're your friend, that it's all going to be great, they're going to give you an area to demonstrate, and that everything will be fine. And then we read the local Watford paper with them saying the exact opposite. And the cop came off as very credible. But, I mean, that's what they do in their job. And it's there to protect the Bilderberg group from the media, not for their safety. They've been indicted before for Lockheed Martin payoffs. They've been, I mean, this is criminal stuff goes on there. They'll decide what power plants are going to be allowed to stay open and what are going to be able to operate. I mean, that's how real money's made, is controlling the regulators to shut down your competition. That's why the third world can never get going, because they got fat cats there that don't let anybody operate but them. Just like Ceausescu in Romania. And as the free market goes out the window to this monopoly fascism, using socialism on the grassroots, it's getting worse and worse. So I'm saying at Infowars.com/Bilderberg, whether they let me in the country or not. I'm getting on a plane, I'll be there Monday. Because they block all sorts coming into England now. It's not a free country to a great extent. We will be at Bilderberg Group with Watson, his brother, and other reporters, of other names not announced that are going to be there, period. We already have a presence in England, period. We already have 5 people in England, period. We're going to be there. And the police trying to block media, saying that you can't have a permit to rent property. What a free country. You have to get a permit to have an event to rent property. I mean, England, when you're in England, I'll be interviewing people on the street, and cops walk over and go, I'm putting you in a database of extremists. You're not allowed to talk to people in England. And I go, but you got cameras watching us. I can't have this camera. Move along, you'll be arrested. Yank. And you're like, wow, you're really free country. I mean, I've been in bad places in Mexico, and the cops aren't as bad as they are in England now. But it's all real polite. I'm just doing this for your safety. Let me see your papers. You'll be arrested immediately. More. And it's because they're imploding the country, folks, and overrunning it with third world populations who are then put in the positions of power. This is the takedown of where the Magna Carta came from. There was 1,000 years of wars to try to get some basic liberty in England. And then those ideas of the Magna Carta came here. And when Tony Blair got elected in 1996, 97, I'll never forget him in the BBC, he gave a speech and he said, it is my goal to remove the Magna Carta. And everyone went, ah! It'd be like saying, it is my plan to destroy the Bill of Rights. Yeah. Just the arrogance. We will abolish. Guys, type in, I bet even 15, 16 years later, it's still up. BBC, Tony Blair, we will abolish Magna Carta. And imagine, I will abolish all your freedom. Ah, yes, ah. And now you will get a permit to even be able to have a rally. Because, group said, we want David Icke and Alex Jones to come speak. And I said, okay, I'll go speak at your event. And I said, if they even let you have it, I've read your so-called laws. They went, of course we'll be allowed to have an event. Oh, you think you will? What do you think you are, in a free country? Excuse me. Let's go to Paul Watson and then our guest. Paul, you've got an article coming out soon on Infowars.com with these maps, with these announcements. But I call for everybody. I call for everybody in England, even if they don't agree with us politically. I think it's great to have foreign bankers there, buying their politicians and all of this, and in public paying for these, criminals to, not have the media cover them. Everyone in the UK needs to now go to Watford because the mayor's saying protesting is bad and protesting is criminal. I mean, my God, this woman needs to move to North Korea.
Well, as far as I understand it, Alex, from talking to the organisers, people like Steve Lee, that police liaison officer, have been friendly and helpful. This is coming from the higher level police and the Watford Council. And the Watford Council just needs to stop being silly, because you're going to get thousands of people descending on an event with nowhere to go. Do they want us all to mass at the gates of the Grove Hotel, which is, like 10 feet across? It's not going to work. It's a public safety issue. And the fact that they've denied this application means that they're putting the public at risk. And as he said, this is taxpayer funded. This security operation with the police is taxpayer funded. So they've got a duty, a right. They owe it to the people who are going down there. They owe it to the residents who are now starting to complain. There's a residents meeting on Monday night to grant this approval for this site, for this Bilderberg Festival, because whether they do or not, everybody's going to turn up. You can guarantee it, and I don't think they realise that.
How dare you want to assemble? This is North Korea!
I reckon they think that it's just a few dozen hippies or something that are going to turn up. David Icke and Alex Jones on the same bill. That's never happened before. This is a reason for more people to go. If you were thinking about going, I mean, this should make the decision.
Well, what will happen is we'll go talk to farmers and people in the area. We'll have listeners there. In fact, we've already been emailed by farmers and people. We need to go through our emails and get the folks. And we'll just have a couple of alternate sites. We'll announce at Infowars.com/Bilderberg and at The Real Alex Jones on Twitter where the event will be. We'll have thousands of people show up for the speeches. And if they want to arrest everybody, that'll be even bigger international news. We're going to call Kim Jong-un there in Watford's bluff on this, Watson. And if they try to stop me from coming into the country, it's even bigger. We only lose when we don't resist their tyranny, Watson.
Well, exactly. I mean, this mayor right from the start said, oh, these protesters are going to cause disturbance, they're going to cause violence. She set their agenda right from the very start. That's completely unreasonable. This Watford council needs to be reasonable, needs to accept reality that they've got thousands of people descending on their little town next week, and they need to grant the approval for this site. Otherwise, everybody's going to be in a tiny pen at the front gates of the Grove Hotel. That's not going to work. I mean, people are going to get crushed. There's a main road there. People are going to get run over. It's a massive public safety issue, and they haven't dealt with it, and they need to stop.
But by the way, Stan Lee, not the famous, billion-dollar cartoon guy of Spider-Man fame, but the British Stan Lee. He sounds completely convincing that he's a nice guy on the phone and a listener. So he's an Academy Award-winning liar. But I've got his emails here too, saying we're going to have a large area, we're going to support your free speech and the press. But now the paper's saying that's not the case. So what's going on here?
I think it was him that helped the organizers recommend the site of the park for the festival. So I think he's largely been helpful from the perception that I get. It's the council itself and the higher levels of the police that have cracked down on it. So we need Steve Lee to be. Well,
I got to be honest, Watson. I didn't want to go. You and my wife and others said you got to go. Jim Tucker just died because I mean, it's not. I'll have fun once I'm doing it, but it's not. I've been in enough demonstrations. I've confronted globalists enough. I'm sick of it all. But I said, you watch. They're going to act like total authoritarians and make this story for us, and they're going to do it. That's the thing about these evil people, is that they just think that they're going to dominate us and that's going to intimidate us, Watson, and it's going to be the opposite.
Well, I mean, they should learn from their colleagues over in Switzerland who didn't close any roads off. They allowed us free access all around the hotel. There was no incident apart from their fake little bomb threat that they set up. Nobody was arrested as far as I know. And this security crackdown, anti-terror.
And the police helped light torches for everybody as well. I mean,
exactly.
They were very helpful. The police wanted to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
We had a good relationship with the police in Switzerland. So if you want to draw more attention to Bilderberg, fine, go ahead, put up checkpoints, stop people from entering certain residential areas, stop people from putting events on in parks, and you'll only create a bigger story. If that's how they want to do it.
But look at how the Swiss have done nothing but like have liberty, and they've got money pouring out their ears, and their police hate the New World Order, and we're buying everybody drinks, compared to groveling to the corrupt globalists, and then they rob everything you've got.
Yeah, and we're paying for it as well. We're paying for the checkpoints and the show your ID and the bag searches and everything.
How long until you have an article with all these maps and stuff up at Infowars.com?
Straight after I've eaten my dinner.
All right, well done. I know it's late over there. Listen, get an article written. We're going to post it at Infowars.com/Bilderberg. And then, Watson, regardless, we're going to just go ahead and run this whole operation. People that want to listen to our directives can. We'll say where to go. We'll say what to do. And whoever's with us is with us. And I may be sitting here in Austin, Texas. If they don't let me get on that plane over there. But you'll be there regardless. And we will, I hope I get in. I'm not really, either way we win. So great job, Watson. And we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, thanks, Alex.
We're going to go to break and come back with our guest for the balance of the hour.